Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. If you don't already know, my name is Johan Bertha, and over here we talk about some fun camera stuff. And yeah, if you like that sort of thing, please consider subscribing. So anyway, in today's video, we're going to be talking about why you don't need slow motion to get just amazing, insane cinematic B-roll. And first things first, we want to make sure that we're actually shooting in the correct camera settings. So if we're not going to be shooting in slow motion, obviously we're going to be shooting in ideally 24 frames. I know some cameras don't have this option, so if yours doesn't, you can shoot in 30 frames. And once we've selected either of these frame rates, we want our shutter speed to be double our frame rate. And the reason we want this is because it incorporates a very natural motion blur, exactly like the motion blur that we see with our eyes in everyday life. However, now that you've set your shutter speed to double your frame rate, which if you're shooting in 24 frames should be 1/50th of a second, you're going to notice that your frame is very, very bright, especially if you're shooting on a bright sunny day outside. And sadly, there isn't really any way around this except to buy an ND filter. So what is an ND filter? Well, an ND filter is a neutral density filter that basically makes your image darker. I'll link some down in the description below for nice budget options that I think are worth your money. And now that we have our camera settings down, I want to talk a little bit about camera motion. So a lot of people mistake motion in a scene for only moving the camera. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you have a frame of a big house and there are no trees that are moving, there's nothing going on, it's just a static frame of a house. The house isn't moving and the camera isn't moving. Well, now it just looks like a picture. You know, why would we have a reason to take a video of this? So either what we could do is if we had this exact same frame, we could add movement to the camera, maybe a slow dolly in or a slow pan to the side or a tilt up and down. And that's going to give life to the footage and add maybe a reveal or an intensity to the shot. Or you could keep the camera totally stationary, but you could add something in the frame that's adding motion. Maybe you wait until the trees are blowing in the wind, or you add a little light being switched on in a window, and that's now adding to the story. That in itself is motion within the frame. And it's things like that that will progress your story and actually make it valid for you to be taking a video of this subject. So now, having spoken a little bit about motion in our scenes, I want to move over to camera shake. And the reason I want to speak about this is because I see so many people who they get a camera and they are just absolutely petrified of handshake and any form of jitter, or they're there and it's shooting all over the place and they hate it. They don't want any of that. They just want a gimbal, they want a glide cam, they want a tripod, they want all their shots to be smooth and stable. And I don't think we should neglect handshake and just totally disregard it, because it's such an important tool that can add so much emotion to our films. So if we can just learn some techniques to improve our handshake and make it less of that small micro jitter and more of a nice flowy movement, then that can really improve our B-roll films and whatever we're out there shooting. And another thing is to just improve your manual focus. I cannot hammer this home enough, because if you're shooting, especially in 24 frames, and your camera is changing focus very suddenly, you know, it's in its focus, it's out of focus, it's hunting all over the place, that is very, very unpleasing to the eye, especially when you're not recording in slow motion, because that's all happening in real time now. You can't just slow it down and, oh, you know, it looks like a smooth focus pull. No, now. So you really want to just work on your manual focus. Just take your camera and practice focusing from one subject to another subject, just back and forth, back and forth. And if you do that enough, maybe once or twice a day for a week or two, you'll become a lot better at it, and it's definitely going to help you with your films. And yeah, slow motion is absolutely great, but sometimes drawing a scene out and just keeping it going is not what we should do. I mean, how many times can we really watch someone pour milk into the coffee in slow-mo again and again and again? I mean, we've all seen it, so how can we make the footage unique? You know, maybe we don't focus on the milk landing in the coffee, maybe we focus on something else, maybe we focus on the kettle boiling, maybe we focus on the stirring of the coffee, mixing them together, or something like that in real time that can emphasize the speed or emphasize the flow of the film. And so yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching and actually sticking around till the end. Means a lot to me. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing where we can have some fun, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Peace.